Yeah, Assalamu alaikum. I am Imran Malik, and I'm a retired brigadier from the Pakistan Army. And today I would like to talk to you about the security situation in Balochistan and its geopolitical implications. However, we must note first of all that Balochistan at the moment is a subject of a serious clash of interests between global powers, and I would say that would be the United States and China at the moment. And there are a number of reasons for that. And these reasons cover the geopolitical, the geostrategic, and the geoeconomic dimensions. And the current or the recent unrest in the province and the plethora of terrorist attacks that have been visited upon Balochistan are a link in the series of efforts by the detractors of the Sino-Pakistan partnership who want to keep Balochistan on the boil. And when they keep Balochistan on the boil, they certainly also put the BRI, the Belt and Road Initiative of China, and Pakistan's CPEC, the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, under clouds as well. So this is a very complex situation where the internal fault lines of Balochistan are coinciding with the interests of the US-led West and India in disturbing Balochistan and making sure that China's BRI and CPEC do not come to fruition, which might give China and Pakistan tremendous advantages. Now, if we talk about the geopolitical dimensions of Balochistan, and when I talk about Balochistan, I'll be talking primarily about the BRI and CPEC. So, with the coming in of the BRI and CPEC in Balochistan, the security dimensions of Balochistan have been compounded because of the serious clash of interests that the US-led West and China and Pakistan have over this trade corridor. The point is that any force that comes into Balochistan, or any power that comes into Balochistan and can plonk itself on the Makran coast, accrues a tremendous amount of geopolitical advantages. If China, for example, were to come and sit on the Makran coast and in Balochistan, then it is very well positioned to enhance its sphere of influence to include the greater Middle East region, the whole of it, Africa, Europe, and even beyond. And we assume that the Central Asian republics, South and Central Asia, as a matter of fact, in all, would also remain within China's sphere of influence. Now, this is something that the US-led West and, of course, do not want to happen. So geopolitically, the BRI CPEC is compounding the security implications of Balochistan, and that is because of that very critical clash of interests here between the US-led West, China, and Pakistan. However, we must note that the BRI CPEC gave a launch pad to China to move into Iran, and through Iran onto the Arabian Peninsula, and thereafter onto the African Peninsula. And that is something that the US-led West want to forestall. And they are undertaking a number of other steps also to obviate China's expansion, the expansion of Chinese influence into Iran, the Greater Middle East region, and into Africa. Furthermore, they want to see the BRI CPEC being either delayed or disrupted, or, if possible, destroyed, so that China's efforts to improve its or enhance its sphere of influence are stymied and blunted at its onset. And we must remember that these terrorist attacks, especially the ones in the last week of August this year, were a link in the series of terrorist attacks on the BRI CPEC, which are intended to achieve this very purpose, or this very aim and objective. Coming on to the geostrategic dimensions, I think, and they are the most important ones here. Any force, any power that comes into Balochistan and occupies the Makran coast acquires tremendous geostrategic advantages. For example, the Makran coast gives that power tremendous opportunities to create naval air missile bases along the coast, and a lot of places to have its radar stations, its listening posts, its intelligence gathering posts, its communication stations and all, giving it a tremendous amount of strategic advantage. Any force which sits on the Makran coast will, or any power that sits on the Makran coast will, have a controlling oversight on all the slocks, the sea lines of communications to and from the Persian Gulf and the Hormuz Straits. And that means that all the trade, especially oil, to and from the Persian Gulf will remain under the critical oversight of the power sitting on the Makran coast. Furthermore, any power that forays forth from the Makran coast and ventures into the Indian Ocean, it could dominate regional east-west trade in the Indian Ocean and thereby start exercising a strategic reach not only in the Arabian Sea, in the Persian Gulf, but in the Indian Ocean as well. Now, this is something that goes against the interests of the US-led West and India, and quite obviously they are now moving to stymie it and stunt it. And therefore, these terrorist attacks emanating from Afghanistan and Iran on the BRI CPEC. The geostrategic advantages that clearly China would accrue from the militarization of the Makran coast they go against the interests of the US-led West, and that is why they want to stop it. And the methodology they are using it is through the various terrorist attacks, the continuous, relentless terrorist attacks on the CPEC within Balochistan especially. If we come on to the geo-economic interests, apart from the massive mineral deposits in Balochistan, the Balochistan or the BRI CPEC affords tremendous regional interconnectivity and economic interdependence in the entire region at large, the greater Middle East region at large. It is most likely, or potentially, it can start off a series of east-west trade corridors, which transcend the region, and north-south trade corridors, which say, for example, link West China to the Arabian Sea, the CAR, the Central Asian Republics to the Arabian Sea, Afghanistan to the Arabian Sea. The Tapi gas pipeline from Turkmenistan via Afghanistan could come to Pakistan and in some ways even go up to India. The Iran-Pakistan gas pipeline again is an east-west project, which could bring a great deal of economic prosperity to the region. So the BRI CPEC has the potential of creating tremendous amount of regional interconnectivities and economic interdependencies, which are to the benefit of the people. Furthermore, all trade between the Persian Gulf, Arab states, Iran, and passing through the Hormuz Straits will remain under the oversight of any power sitting on the Makran coast. And therefore, the impact of this power sitting on the Makran coast will be to dominate and cut off the slocks at will. And this will be a tremendous leverage can exercise in geopolitical affairs, and this can and will, I presume, be used as a leverage against the blockade of the Malacca Straits. Now, we all know that the bulk of China's international trade goes through the Malacca Straits, and if that is blocked, China's trade will come to a grinding halt, almost. Now, to balance that out and have a leverage on that blockade, China or any power sitting on the Makran coast could do a similar act at the Hormuz Strait and block all trade coming to and from the Persian Gulf, especially oil. And that would create a situation where one would have to give in to take advantage of the other. That means that the Malacca Straits will have to be kept open to ensure that the Hormuz Straits remain open. So the geoeconomic, the strategic implications of any power coming into Balochistan and sitting on the Makran coast are tremendous.